Hey, what's up out there, guys? Thanks for stopping by the channel. This is my review of The Mauritanian, coming February 12th from STXfilms. This one's directed by Kevin Macdonald. It stars Tahar, Rahim, and features a great supporting cast consisting of Jodie Foster, Shailene, Woodley, Benedict, Cumberbatch, and Zachary, Levi. This movie is based on a true story, and it follows the fight for freedom that a man embarks on when he is imprisoned in Guantanamo Bay and held there for years without any formal charges being served against him. So let's get into the good, the not so good, and everything in the middle to see if this movie delivers more than just a cast of familiar faces.
My client, he's not a suspect. He's a witness.
Mr. Slahi, would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me?
The Mauritanian.
Going into this one, I was expecting to see a compelling story. However, I was also expecting it to kind of just follow that familiar formula that movies of related subject matters often follow, but that wasn't the case here, and that was awesome. It has a lot of different moving pieces to it. You have this man who was basically had his life essentially taken from him. You have two sides of the legal team working his case, and then you have the actions that take place at Guantanamo Bay. And I loved how all of these parts wove together while the story is moving forward on the legal side with Foster and her defense team and Cumberbatch and his prosecution team, the other layer of this story exploring what was done to this man and how he got to this point in the narrative works its way backwards. All the while, it's probing into the unethical tactics that are inflicted onto detainees inside of this remote secret detention camp, and it conveys the lengths that the government would go to keep all of this hidden and secret from the public. And this layer of the story really is the undercurrent of everything. This is what created that sympathetic feeling for Sahali. It's also what created the enlightenment in Cumberbatch's character, and it's what forced Foster's to break her emotionless exterior as the case really breaks her tough facade. And what I really enjoyed was all of the parts of this story served an important role. Each one of them built their own dramatic connection to the viewer, and each one also provided the groundwork for thought while watching the movie. It just results in a story with many intriguing layers, and it's filled with fantastic yet, I would say, unassuming performances. Cumberbatch delivered a variation of his usual military persona, and it did work for the needs of this role. Jodie Foster was fantastic as this seemingly emotionless defense attorney. She really commanded the screen. She brought a confidence to this role that really did sell her as the successful attorney she was supposed to be, and there was actually a subtle internal growth to her character that I think Foster was able to deliver with just a natural ease to make it work perfectly for the needs of the film. I also thought Shailene Woodley was more than capable. I thought she brought plenty of emotion to this character. I thought Zachary Levi in a smaller role definitely had a few solid scenes that he was able to help elevate with his delivery, much like Woodley was able to do. But I think despite all the big names in this movie, I think it was Tahar Rahim that stole the screen with each of his scenes. I think he brought a naturally endearing performance to this movie. He deals with so much throughout this story, and the adversity that he overcomes was absolutely inspiring, and I think through his performance it was just incredibly compelling from a cinematic aspect. This man is very much a mystery at first, but you continually learn more about him. You learn more about his personality and the perseverance that he has, and I think he just captured it all with an impressive authenticity as he's able to hit each of the dramatic notes. Now, as for drawbacks, I think it's kind of tough because I do think this movie accomplished a lot of what it set out to do. I think it's a bit of an ensemble piece, so some may not like getting to spend as much time with characters like Cumberbatch and Foster's. I think the story also does kind of jump around a lot, and while I did find it cohesive overall, I can see where some may feel it's a little bit jumbled, so I think that would come down to just your movie preference overall. And this movie is of course based on a true story, and it revolves around US government activities, but in the end it's still a work of fiction, so where possible liberties may have been taken for theatrical effect, I think that could be a hindrance to those who really know the details of the real life events that this film revolves around. But to me, this isn't a documentary, this is a fictional story, and as such I think it was a very compelling one. So in the end, I'll give The Mauritanian 90%. It was a well-rounded flick, the production design was great, great, the writing was tight, it didn't waste much time, it continually evolves multiple layers, and it does so with an even pace that I think can easily just have you locked in and feeling the emotional responses from the things that you watch progress. Plus, I'm a huge Jodie Foster fan. I think she was awesome in this movie, so I think if you're curious, I would certainly recommend checking it out. Now for today's My Silver Screen recommendations. First up, I've selected Camp X-Ray starring Kristen Stewart. It's an undermentioned drama that's also set around Guantanamo Bay that I think really delivers a great Kristen Stewart performance. Next, I selected the 90s classic A Few Good Men starring Tom Cruise, Demi Moore, and Jack Nicholson. And finally, I selected something a little bit lighter to kind of change the mood, that being Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay, which is not based on real events. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop it a thumbs up, leave a comment below. I'd love to talk movies with you guys. Share it with your friends, and without question, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can never miss a video. Here are some links to some recent reviews just in case you missed them. All my social media links and the link to our official website are down in the description below, and I'll catch you next time.